How one man rigged the system and stole millions. Eddie Tipton jotted down the numbers on a yellow sticky note as he sat at his desk in Urbandale more than a decade ago. Around him were more sticky notes filled with number sets that he carefully wrote down as they spun up on his computer screen. The numbers were generated by a cryptic two-line software code Tipton had planted in his employer's computer system at the Multi-State Lottery Association. The office building was virtually empty as Tipton ran test after test, zeroing in on the possible winning numbers for an upcoming $4.8 million lottery jackpot drawing in Colorado. His code would let him narrow the drawing's winning odds from 5 million to 1 to 200 to 1. And over time, it would allow him to hijack at least 5 winning drawings totaling more than $24 million in prizes in Colorado, Wisconsin, Iowa, Kansas, and Oklahoma. The biggest lottery scam in U.S. history. The largest jackpot, a $16.5 million hot lotto prize in Iowa in 2010, was never paid. And ultimately, it would be the one that would do Tipton in. A seed that started it all. Tipton, who loved playing the fantasy game Dungeons and Dragons, told himself he wasn't trying to crack the code for the money. Instead, the Texas native, described by his brother as a very large and kind of lonesome man, was inspired by the challenge. An offhand conversation with a co-worker, Gene Schaller, in 2005 set the challenge in motion. Tipton told investigators, "Hey, did you put your secret numbers in there?" Schaller asked him. "What do you mean?" Tipton replied. "Well, you know you can set numbers on any given day, since you wrote the software." Schaller, who remains an accountant for the Multi-State Lottery Association, wouldn't comment for this article. But Tipton, all on his way to prison last year, reflected with investigators on the importance of that conversation. "The idea was just like a little seed that was planted," he said. "And then during one slow period, I had a thought that it's possible." That night in 2005, the 41-year-old bachelor began a fraud that even he had no idea would eventually shake the lottery industry to its core. "It was never my intent to start a full-out ticket scam," Eddie told investigators during his June 29 post-conviction confession sessions in the Hoover State Office building in Des Moines. A criminal past and a job offer, to be truthful. Tipton never expected he'd land an interview with the Multi-State Lottery Association, let alone be hired and eventually become one of the most entrusted lottery security officials in the nation. The association is owned and operated by 36-member lotteries, mostly state organizations such as the Iowa Lottery. It's responsible for many of the nation's most popular and richest lotteries, including Powerball and Hot Lotto. Tipton had pleaded guilty in 1982 for his part in a warehouse burglary. The then 19-year-old faced up to 20 years in prison for the felony conviction, but instead was given 2 years of probation and was ordered to pay $1,719 in restitution, court records show. And before his burglary conviction, Tipton had been convicted of stealing computer software from a department store. Tipton told federal investigators more than 20 years later that the software theft was a Jerry Springer-style incident that was more of an argument with a Sears employee. In 2003, as he sat for an interview, Tipton told Ed Stephan, his prospective boss at the Multi-State Lottery Association, about both convictions. So he was surprised when the association paid to fly him from Texas to Des Moines for an in-person job interview. "And I'm like, are you sure? Because I know these are there," Tipton told investigators. "He came in, did my fingerprints to get background check. They went to the Iowa Gaming Commission, and they cleared me." Why Lottery Association executives overlooked Tipton's criminal convictions isn't entirely clear. MUSL knew about the burglary when Tipton was hired, according to court documents. State law prohibits felons working for the Iowa Lottery, but that law does not apply to MUSL employees. Roncaioli, CEO of the Multi-State Lottery Association, said he couldn't comment or provide a copy of the association's employee code of conduct, citing ongoing litigation. Stephan did not return calls for comment. But former Deputy Iowa Attorney General Thomas H. Miller made it clear in an interview this year that he believes Tipton should never have been given the opportunity to land a job where he would design the software that randomly picked the winning numbers for the Multi-State Lottery Association. "A thief is a thief," Miller told Game Show Network. "If he'll steal $100, he'd be glad to steal $60 million, and yet multi-state lottery officials actually put him in the position of being director of security for the multi-state lottery, inviting the fox into that chicken coop. The Bigfoot hunt, a lottery win, and a duped FBI. Tipton's initial late-night sticky notes session resulted in his scam's first win, a November 23, 2005 drawing in Colorado. The stars aligned for that game. It was a major jackpot, $4.8 million, and it landed on one of the 3 dates during the year that he was able to manipulate with his secret code. The Colorado resident's claim came from an easy pick ticket, meaning the numbers were selected by a machine. Investigators ruled that purchase legitimate, but the others drew their suspicion. Wisnant and Vallejo were publicly named by investigators who in August 2016 asked the public for assistance in the case. They were never arrested. Iowa Lottery investigation. Tipton said he even warned lottery officials about the system's security risks and alerted them in 2006 about an error in the random drawing software after the same numbers were drawn in the same order in the same year in a Wisconsin game. Soon after his first successful lottery scam, Eddie said he offered a fix that would have thwarted his ability to predict winning numbers, appointing a second person to oversee some of the most crucial processes of the random generator software. "I asked for that originally, I did," he said during his confession, "because I knew that I had already done this. I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore." His immediate boss, Stefan, took the concerns seriously, he said, but others in the organization did not. Most of his concerns were dismissed or inadequately addressed. Tipton complained. "I'd do reviews and I'd find stuff gaping holes in their procedures, and I would tell them. But if it wasn't in my rules, the MUSL rules, I couldn't write it down," he said. "I couldn't document that I saw this gaping hole because they didn't want to hear it or they didn't want it written down anywhere." The big mistake. It was on December 23, 2010 that Eddie made a miscalculation that ultimately unraveled his scheme. He bought a winning ticket himself. Before, he had always funneled winning numbers to others. Video captured his ticket purchase at a Des Moines convenience store about 10 miles from the Multi-State Lottery Association offices. Though he knew the Iowa Lottery had retained a video of the purchase, Eddie told one of his best friends, Robert Rhodes, that he could claim the ticket if he wanted. But Eddie gave Rhodes one caveat: don't wait until the last minute to claim the ticket. That advice was ignored. Rhodes participated in an intricate plan to claim the prize anonymously, less than 2 hours before the 4 p.m. deadline on December 29, 2011. "When I heard that there was a claim, I was actually surprised," Tipton said during his session. "I will say this. I told Rhodes, do not wait until the end to claim it. Do not. Because that's when it has the most scrutiny. Indeed, the 11th hour scheme to claim the ticket captivated the public's attention. The $16.5 million jackpot was the third largest prize in Hot Lotto's history. Tommy and Eddie pleaded guilty to felony crimes related to the rating scheme in June 2017 and agreed to repay $2.2 million in restitution. Tommy admitted claiming prizes in Colorado and Oklahoma using numbers Eddie provided. He was sentenced to 75 days in jail. Eddie was sentenced in August to up to 25 years in prison. In his confession sessions, Eddie outlined 3 key mistakes that helped bring down the decade-long scheme. Tommy's attempt to exchange cash for unmarked bills. His own purchase of a winning ticket, playing in Iowa where he said security is tighter than in other states. About this story. After brothers Eddie and Tommy Tipton were caught perpetrating the largest lottery fraud in U.S. history, they meticulously outlined their involvement to state agents as a condition of their 2017 convictions and plea agreements. This story is based on nearly 400 pages of court transcripts detailing their confessions, which the Des Moines Register obtained 8 months after filing a public records request. Reaction to the confessions. The Des Moines Register reached out to several experts and people associated with the lottery for their reaction to Eddie and Tommy Tipton's detailed confessions. Here's what they said. "There should be a lesson in this. Everybody just trusts a computer, a box. It's ridiculous to think this was allowed to occur without more rigorous testing." Dean Stowers, one of Tipton's attorneys. "I was pleased to hear Tipton admit that the Iowa Lottery did things right." Tipton also said that one of his biggest mistakes was trying to operate in a state like Iowa, where lottery security staff are all former law enforcement officers. "I am proud of the work by Iowa Lottery employees and Iowa law enforcement investigators who remained committed to following the facts wherever they led. We were part of an operation that gathered and reviewed evidence from across North America to build a case against Tipton, which ultimately led to his confession and plea." Iowa Lottery CEO Terry Rich. As we close the chapter on this incredible tale of cunning and deceit, we're left with a profound lesson on the frailty of systems and the astounding ingenuity of individuals. How one man rigged the system and stole millions serves as a stark reminder that no fortress is impenetrable, no institution immune to manipulation. It's a story that keeps us on the edge of our seats, a reminder that the human spirit's potential for both good and ill knows no bounds. In the face of such audacious exploits, we're challenged to reflect on the systems and safeguards that govern our world. What can we learn from this audacious heist? How can we bolster our defenses, protect the vulnerable, and ensure that justice prevails? It's a conversation that resonates far beyond the boundaries of this video, prompting us to examine our own roles and responsibilities in safeguarding the integrity of the systems we depend on. That's all for today's video. We hope you liked the video. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel Lottery Tales and also press the bell icon for latest update. Until next video, take care.